Hello, and welcome to Wine Battles. I'm your host, Daniel Strab, and today we'll be going over Burgundy. What I think is the best Pinot Noir in the world comes from the Burgundy region. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very specific region, the Côte d'Or. Makes up two different regions, the Côte de Nuits and the Côte de Beaune. But today we're going to be looking at Côte de Nuits, which is definitely, so far, my favorite region of Burgundy. And we'll be looking at two different Nuits-Saint-Georges. One is a Premier Cru, Aux Champs Perdrix, from Nuits-Saint-Georges, Premier Cru. It's a 2019 from Domaine Chevion chez you. And the other one is a Corton from Edouard Delaunay. And it too is from Nuits-Saint-Georges, but it is a Grand Cru. So 1% of all the wine that comes from Burgundy comes from Grand Cru domains, appellations. And Premier Cru, I believe, makes up 8% of total wine produced from Burgundy. So both of these are more singled out plots, which means the quality should be higher. I've had the Premier Cru 3 times before, and once here on Wine Battles, it was the champion of our Pinot Noir battles of New World versus Old World. So today it's going up against its own from Nuits-Saint-Georges, but today it's going to be Premier Cru versus Grand Cru. So we'll see two things. Number one, can I pick out which one's the Premier Cru and the Grand Cru? And number two, which one do I feel rates higher? So let's start drinking. All right, so we have the two wines here, wine A and wine B. I have playing cards here underneath each one of the wines, and the decanters are at the other end of the table. So that way we can tell which one's which when we get to the end. My lovely wife, she's poured these glasses for me, so I don't know which one is which. So we'll see if I can tell which is the Premier Cru and which is the Grand Cru. So let's start with wine A. Wine A is kind of a muddled ruby strawberry red, lighter towards the meniscus. Let's say medium to heavy viscosity. Let's say medium to long legs. And I would say light to medium extraction. The nose is fantastic. It's jammy, it's fruit forward, getting bright cherry, strawberry candied notes almost. It's fantastic. Floral notes, some crushed lavender, even a little rose. A little bit of earthiness, but nothing too crazy. And if you can't notice, I'm wearing my burgundy sweater because it's my favorite color and my favorite region. Oh God, the aromatics are just fantastic. All right, let's give it a taste. Wow. that is so perfumed on the palate. Front palate is just bursting with candied strawberry, little bit of tart cherry. The acidity is absolutely structured perfect. It is amazing. Long drawn out finish. That acidity hits a note and just continues through. It wow. This is why Burgundy is the best Pinot Noir in the world. That is amazing. The Premier Cru I've tried before. I ended up rating it 100 points. Just because I've had it 3 times. Each time I asked myself, I said, have you ever tasted anything better than this? The answer has always been no, and that's why I had to give it 100 points. And this is hitting that standard. Wow. But it wouldn't be a wine battle without a competitor. And I haven't even gotten into wine B yet. So, as much as I'm fawning over wine A, we still have a contender, wine B. Wine B. Okay. Definitely more translucent. A little bit more brickish red towards a little broader, watery meniscus. Seems like it's a little bit heavier with the viscosity. Legs still around. Medium, long legs. The extraction's not as heavy. I'd call it a light extraction. Let's see what it's like on the nose. Completely different. Completely different. Whereas the aromatics are off the hook on this one. This one represents differently. I'm still getting cherry notes, but not that candied strawberry. Definitely more earthy tones. It's much more intense, much more broody. You can tell there's a little bit more oak influence in this one. It comes out a little bit more. But that earthiness, that minerality, is definitely much more present in wine B. Let's give it a taste. Tannins are much stronger in wine B. They're still very fine and silky and smooth, but definitely much more present than wine A. Nice acidity, good structure, but it doesn't hit those same notes as wine A does. Has more of like a chocolate influence on the finish, which is something that I usually associate more with like a Cab or a Merlot. But this is definitely complex. I mean, on the nose, on the palate. Very elegant. Just not as ethereal. It's Like I said, it's more brooding. This is more spring, and this is more fall. If I had to make kind of like associations with spring and fall, I'd say this is brighter, more fruit forward, and this is heavier, more intense. I have to say this is the Premier Cru. Wine A. It's got to be the Premier Cru. Wine B is no slouch. It's just not wine A. I mean, I'd still give wine A 100 points. Every time I have this 2019, it amazes me. Just amazes me. It's still the best Pinot Noir I've ever had. Wine B, which I think is the Grand Cru, the Corton, it's really good, don't get me wrong. And I would definitely rate it 98, 99. It's just, it's, like I said, it's not wine A. But the aromatics are complex, they're broody, they're intense. There's some forest floor. That's what I was trying to pick up on. It's that forest floor. Kind of like those mushroom notes. Would be a good descriptor for it. Along with the cherry. A little bit of spice on the palate. But yeah, it has to be the Grand Cru. So let's do the unveiling and that fawning. Let's check it out. Number 10. Wow. Well, boy, was I wrong. The way I poured them, wine A was the Grand Cru, and wine B was the Premier Cru. Now, I thought I knew that Premier Cru hands down. I mean, right? That blows my mind. I still can't believe it. Well, it goes to show you that there is value in Premier Cru versus Grand Cru, because wine A is absolutely fantastic. Never had anything like that. I really thought that was the Premier Cru. Boy, was I wrong. Then it happens. And you know what? I don't feel bad because I just got to taste two freaking amazing wines. And having the Premier Cru 3 times, I was pretty confident I could discern it. I've never had a Grand Cru before, especially one from the Corton region. And it is good. Oh my gosh. I'm sticking my original blind assessment, 98, 99 points, 100 points. Premier Cru. Nuits-Saint-Georges, Premier Cru Aux Champs Perdrix, Corton Grand Cru, Nuits-Saint-Georges is the winner, 100 points. So that's it for this edition of Wine Battles. I'm your host, Daniel Streb, and remember, not only drink happy, drink Grand Cru.